I was praying that it wasn't a black woman. I was like, please, because black women don't need any more movements to drive them further away from getting married or coupling or partnering with men. But lo and behold, a black woman wrote this.
I just think we have continually rewarded men for the abysmal way they treat women. And I just feel like it's getting to the point that it is unavoidable. It's uncomfortable now. So yeah, having a boyfriend is a bit embarrassing because men are embarrassing because what are they doing?
Throughout this whole article, nowhere in this piece did she say anything about women being abstinent or celibate. So what's the other alternative? If you have a bunch of single women who are still swimming in the dating pool, what are they going to get used for? Sex. Simple. Because if you don't want a partner, you don't want a man, then you cut out any commitment and you're just going to be useful to the group.
Is Having a Boyfriend Embarrassing Now? By Shantae Joseph. If someone so much as says, my boyf on social media, they're muted. There's nothing I hate more than following someone for fun, only for their content to become my boyfriend. I fied suddenly. For so long, it felt like we were living in boyfriend land, a world where women's online identities centered around the lives of their partners, something rarely seen reversed. Women were rewarded for their ability to find and keep a man with elevated social status and praise. It became even more suffocating when this could be leveraged on social media for engagement and, if you were serious enough, financial gain.
I'm pretty sure you are aware of the couples that do couples content.
We're going on a date and the theme is flowers, his and hers, fragrances. The Valentino Beauty born in Roma, Uomo, and Donna. I love this fragrance because it's so feminine.
You have married couples, you have boyfriend and girlfriend. And again, stick around because I have a perfect example that we covered before that you guys probably forgot. You can monetize your channel. And there's been some people that have broken up, gotten divorced after doing all kinds of, relationship content. So in that sense, yes, that will be embarrassing, but that's not saying embarrassing to be a boyfriend. That situation will be embarrassing, okay?
However, more recently, there's been a pronounced shift in the way people showcase their relationships online. Far from fully hard-launching romantic partners, straight women are opting for subtler signs, a hand on a steering wheel, clinking glasses at dinner, or the back of someone's head. On the more confusing end, you see faces blurred out of wedding pictures or entire professionally edited videos, with the fiancé conveniently cropped out of all shots. Women are obscuring their partner's face when they post, as if they want to erase the fact they exist without actually not posting them.
If you listen, she's actually talking about how women respond to this. The reason why women hide their boyfriends, you've seen those where they put like a blur or a face over the dude that they're dealing with, is because they know how women are. They know that if their boyfriend is attractive enough or whatever, women are going to slide into his DMs, or they're going to do the opposite. They're going to judge him. And then she's going to start second guessing him. Like, man, oh damn, this dude ain't as cute as I thought he was because these women saying that he ugly. Women are slick. So this article was kind of masking the overarching point of saying that I don't trust women.
So what gives? Are people embarrassed by their boyfriends now? Or is something more complicated going on? It feels like the result of women wanting to straddle two worlds, one where they can receive the social benefits of having a partner, but also not appear so boyfriend obsessed that they come across as culturally out of touch. They want the prize and celebration of partnership, but understand the norminess of it. In other words, in an era where many women are skeptical of traditional heterosexual relationships, they don't want to be seen as being all about their man, but they still want the clout that comes with being partnered. But it's not all about image. Many women say they are superstitious. Some fear the evil eye, the belief that their happy relationships could spark jealousy so strong in others that it might end the relationship. Others worry about their relationship ending and being stuck with the posts. One woman said she was in a relationship for 12 years and never once posted him or talked about him online. They broke up recently, and she said she would never post a man again. Even though...
You see that? So that's what they were saying is embarrassing. Not embarrassing to deal with men or have a boyfriend that would lead to marriage. Talking about the social media aspect of it. When you post your boyfriend, you break up, that's embarrassing. Y'all understand the article now? But that's not what you hear on social media. You hear women saying, yeah, I don't want men. No, they're simply saying on social media. What's sad is that the author, Shantae Joseph, she actually leaned into the negative stuff that was going on with this.
She described herself as a romantic. She said she still feels like men will embarrass you even 12 years in, so claiming them feels lame. There's also a growing sense from single and partnered women alike that being with a man feels almost guilty. On popular podcasts and social media discussions, people debate whether having a boyfriend is lame now. Comments like, why does having a boyfriend feel Republican? Or boyfriends are out of style until they start acting right.
Why does having a boyfriend feel like being a Republican? I told you in the black community, man, that's like blasphemy. You can't be a Republican and people, consider you one of the good ones, so to speak.
Get thousands of likes. Some say that having a boyfriend dulls a woman's aura. Ironically, many of the women who say these things have partners themselves. Even partnered women will critique men and heterosexuality, partly in solidarity with other women, but also because it's now seen as fundamentally uncool to be a boyfriend girl. Audiences share that sentiment. Many are turned off by too much relationship content. When one writer and influencer revealed her boyfriend online, she lost hundreds of followers. She later said she wouldn't post him again, even if they stayed together, because constantly sharing a partner feels cringy and boastful, especially when the dating landscape is so bleak.
If you want to post your dude, you post your dude. But I mean, hey, it's on women. Something that they got to deal with. So here we go.
Another content creator said when she shared a trip with a guy, people responded, please don't get a boyfriend. She admitted that her content becomes less exciting when she's in a relationship. Being single gives her the freedom to say and do what she wants. She noticed that women, herself included, often become more beige and watered down online when in relationships.
Yeah, so that was actually good. So essentially saying she can't be as wild and free because now you got a man like, hey man, you can't be wearing that shit out. They don't like that. Okay? A lot of women are like, man, I still want to be able to do what I want, but I also want a boyfriend. But when you typically get a boyfriend, you're not going to be out in the streets like that. Okay? And you're not going to be dressing scantily clad or posting half-naked pictures because you are now a representation of this man. And if you are marriage-minded, this could be your potential husband. So you would want to listen to him. But the single women who watch your content and they see that you haven't been posting as much or you're not outside as much as you used to, they get upset because you are not one of them now. You are a boyfriend girl, and they don't like that. You're not entertaining because now this guy is telling you what to do or what you can and cannot wear. So women have a choice to make. Is marriage important to you or the validation of single women in your comment section? And a lot of women are choosing the single women in the comment section. And that's why men need to start compartmentalizing these types of women. Every woman that's championing this, I don't want a boyfriend, I don't want a man, you need to be mindful of that. You may run into one of these women. They're not going to identify themselves as that. You just need to be able to vet them properly.
From these conversations, one thing is clear. The script is shifting. Being partnered no longer affirms womanhood. It's no longer considered an achievement. If anything, it's become more of a flex to call yourself single. Straight women are now confronting something that other sexualities have long contended with, the politicization of identity. Heterosexuality has long been left undefined, making it harder for people within it and outside of it to critique. But as traditional roles crumble, perhaps we're being forced to reevaluate our loyalty to heterosexual norms. There's no shame in falling in love, But there's also no shame in trying and failing to find it, or in not trying at all. As long as women continue to rethink and critique traditional norms, having a boyfriend will remain a fragile, even contentious concept in public life. At the same time, more women are reclaiming and romanticizing single life. Where being single was once treated as a cautionary tale, you'll end up alone with cats, it's now becoming a desirable, even celebrated status.
So, and we're going to listen to the end of it, but throughout this whole article, like she was saying, women are celebrating being single. Nowhere in this piece did she say anything about women being abstinent or celibate. So what's the other alternative? If you have a bunch of single women who are still swimming in the dating pool, what are they going to get used for? Sex. Simple. Because if you don't want a partner, you don't want a man, then you cut out any commitment and you're just going to be useful to the group. And it's that cut and dry. You cannot sit here and tell me that you are telling, thousands of women to just stay single and they're not going to have sex. They are going to have sex. Somebody going to be getting to it. And I know that, I got a rose toy. Lady, go ahead and fry your nerves off if you want to. But at some point, you're going to get tired of that rose and buzzing yourself to sleep, and you're going to be looking for the real thing. And that's where the maintenance men come in. And they're going to be ready to use your ass for what you're giving them, and they're going to send your ass back to the dating market because you said you were single. Such is life.
It's another nail in the coffin of a centuries-old fairy tale that never truly benefited women to begin with.
And now you're making money where you can go get your own place.
This is the young lady, Erica. Her story on Dear Future Wifey, where she was working, she met this quote-unquote high-value man, and he was like, hey, do you want this to be your last day working? And she was like, yeah. And she clocked out of work, and she immediately moved to Dallas with her boyfriend. This is what you would consider boyfriend content. And it would be embarrassing if this doesn't work out. This is a perfect example. Watch this.
My own place right now at this particular time. And that's another thing that the girls be in my comments about. It's older women. I'm not going to say the girls. It's older women that try to mask it with like, oh, I'm concerned. But it's like, no, you hating on me. You hating on me. Like, for real. Because if he leave you today, what you going to do? I lived on myself before. I have not 1, but 2 degrees. Okay? I have a savings account. I'm a content creator. I make money. I can get my own place.
But they say they're concerned for you?
I'm so concerned because, sister, is he going to...
You think you're going to be homeless?
You think I'm going to be somewhere outside homeless?
Like your parents just disappeared now?
My parents just gone. I can go back to Baltimore. If anything failed, I can go back to Baltimore. I would never... I don't think I would ever move back to Baltimore. But... I can get my own place. I can live. I can thrive. I may not be in a penthouse or whatever like we in now, but I could live.
Good.
I could live.
Essentially, what she was saying is that the older women are concerned that this may not work. So that's why she has more incentive with her boyfriend content and her soft life content to make this work, even though they still aren't married. So this is an example of what would be embarrassing if this doesn't play out like she wants it to. And she's going to go in a little bit more detail. I'm going to give you guys the backstory here. I clipped it up so you can understand what I'm talking about.
Give the girls some hope and tell y'all my testimony, okay? So my boyfriend and I met when we were in college, but we got into a committed relationship after we both graduated. After he graduated, he moved to Dallas for an amazing job offer, y'all. An amazing job offer that is like his dream job. But me, on the other hand, I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. So I'm still in Virginia at this time, working job after job, changing my career about 10 different times, trying to figure out what the heck is my passion. So y'all, one day I was on the phone with him getting ready for work, but I was also just venting to him about how unhappy I was, y'all. Like, I was just like, babe, I need to change the speed. I need to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. I have so much more to offer to this world than to be working at this 9 to 5. Now I'm at work doing my everyday duties, and my manager tells me to come to the back because my husband is on the phone. I'm thinking in my head, Boogie, I don't have a husband. So I go to the back to answer the phone, and it's my man. So I pick up the phone. I'm like, babe, what's wrong? Like, I'm at work. So he's just like, do you want today to be your last day at work? Child, the man didn't have to repeat himself. He didn't have to say it louder because I was already with it, okay? The answer is yes. So he was like, so go ahead and clock out for me. Man got me a one-way ticket to Dallas, got movers at my daggone apartment shipping my stuff over to Dallas. Baby, the man wasn't playing. He paid the fee for me to break my lease. Like, he just had everything taken care of. I felt secure in making the move because, for one, I had a great savings account and I also have 2 degrees. So if all else fails, baby, I can do better by myself. So I'm all settled in now, and we just decided to have a sit down just to talk about our expectations of each other now that we live together. And he literally just told me, the only thing I expect from you is for you to find what your passion is in life. You don't gotta cook, you don't gotta contribute to anything financially.
Young men, did you hear that? And I said this in my first video. You set the relationship table. In the beginning, he told that woman, you don't have to cook, you don't have to clean. So if you come back and try and circle back and like, hey man, you ain't cooking or cleaning. It's like, well, you told me I didn't have to do all that. So who would be at fault? You or her? You, okay? You are the leader in the relationship, right? So remember that. If you set the table, it's gonna be her decision to change, not yours. All right, let's get to it. Fair use.
Just figure out what you want out of life. And he literally just told me, the only thing I expect from you is for you to find what your passion is in life. You don't gotta cook, you don't gotta contribute to anything financially. Just figure out what you want out of life. I'm like, babe, I think I wanna take content creation serious. I might have told him that on a Monday, and I promise y'all that Friday I had a vlogging camera, a new phone, ring lights, vanity sets. Baby, he was not playing. And the biggest thing of all, I complained about the lighting in our old apartment because we didn't have like a lot of natural light. The man moved us into a high rise. Like, I really cannot make this up. I say all that to say, this man knew how unhappy I was. He changed my circumstances, and he also knew my potential, so he invested into my passion. And now I get to wake up every day and talk to a phone and make money. That man wanted to alleviate all my issues so I can just focus on me and what I want out of life. And that's a beautiful black king right there. It's been 4 years now. We've gone to couples therapy.
It's been 4 years since she moved out there and they still haven't gotten married.
Constantly working on the quality of our relationship, and we just are obsessed with each other. And I just love my man. Do not lose hope, baby. Your person is out here somewhere and he gonna come get you. He gonna come get you, Bookie.
She's selling women the dream that they can get what she has. The soft life treatment, the dude gonna fly him out, whatever it is that she was saying. Her whole content is centered around her, I guess trying to learn how to cook. I guess now you see why. Massages, taking trips, buying her boyfriend gifts, he buying her gifts. It's the typical soft life stuff. But again, if this was, the embarrassment will be if this doesn't work. And especially if it doesn't work, the older women are really gonna be like, man, I told you. I told you.
Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
So did you meet him in college?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
It's a backstory to this.
My freshman year, I met him in college. And I swear, like, when I saw him, I was like, that's my man. And I told all my homegirls, I'm like, I love him. When I first saw him.
When you told me that story, I said, girl, no, you did not say that. You said, yes, I did. But when you dating somebody else at the time?
And Laterra's just said, wouldn't you date somebody at the same time?
When you dating somebody else at the time?
I was. That was between us.
Oh, that was between us. Okay.
I mean, she's laughing and it's out now. They probably could have edited this out. But she was like, I didn't want people to know that. But it is what it is.
So she wasn't dating nobody else at the time. She just saw him and said, I love him.
Look, I'm a firm believer in don't let your boyfriend get in the way of your husband.
These young women cold, man. They cold on y'all asses.
Colder than a witch's titty out there, isn't it?
And that's why I don't understand why y'all be so embarrassed to compartmentalize women. Don't let your man stop you from finding your husband. What kind of mess is that? Bro, the dating market is free. It's free.
To the marriage timeline, I would like to be proposed to by December 31st, 2024, which is this year.
This can either go two ways, and I'm not sure what type of man this young guy is, but he can hear her say that, hey, I have a timeline. You need to propose to me by December 31st.
I wasn't even kicking my legs up. I was just laying down.
Again, remember I told you it was context to this story. Now this is already passed or whatever. It's almost been what, 2 years now, I guess, and she, still a girlfriend, still a boyfriend. So I guess they're not ready. It's still working. It seems like I checked the Instagram page. She's still doing soft life content or whatever. So they seem to be content with where they at now. But her deadline of getting married or getting proposed to by December 2024, it didn't happen, I don't think, unless I missed the video. But yeah, so they still going. So here we go. But again, like I said, there was some context to this. When he told her you don't have to cook or clean, this is what happened. Fair use.
I was not doing a thing. And I also said in the video, like, he didn't even expect me to cook or clean or anything like that.
Did y'all hear that? Who sets the tone in the relationship? Young men. You know what's funny? When I was listening to this interview, this situation reminds me of a verse from the R&B singer Black. It's spelled 6 lack, like it has a 6. Listen. And then it's L-A-C-K. You guys know who that is?
Yeah, I'm lying. It's a goddamn shame. We done crashed, we done burned, but baby, you the goddamn blame. See, I wanted love, but you wanted goddamn fame. Every goddamn thing. I wanted a bitch who was on the move, but you wanted goddamn late. This still my problems. Got that one in my bed and she just wanna sleep. Fucking up all of the sheets. She only wake up to eat. Do this shit every week. Like, why you do that? Crying, you wanna be great, but sleeping until the next day. Why you do that? Don't got that much in the bank. We go out, she order the steak. Why you do that? She can't explain it, but you know it working for her. She claiming she down on her luck, but really she don't give a fuck. And I cannot make this shit. I ain't this shit. Be the real thing. She know I'm the real. That'll never change. I won't be the one to try to explain why you catch them feels. I'ma sip on this drink. It's easing the pain. I got real shit stressed about, girl. I ain't worried about shit. Remember that I tried to build you. Now I ain't worried about shit.
You hear them lyrics? Sound exactly like this situation.
For British Vogue, I wrote this.
Now, this is the woman who actually wrote the article. This is Shantae Joseph. And man, when I first saw this going viral on TikTok, I was praying that it wasn't a black woman. I was like, please, because black women don't need any more movements to drive them further away from getting married or coupling or partnering with men. But lo and behold, a black woman wrote this. And I was like, God dang it. So here we go. This is what she said. Like I said, she was leaning into it. Mona, you saw it. Yeah, she was leaning into the responses and not to the actual article she wrote.
This piece is having a boyfriend embarrassing now. I know people have reading the headline, they're like, nah. But listen, for this piece, I interviewed a bunch of women. I spoke to them about why they hide their partners on social media, or they like post very inconspicuously about them. You know, some people said it was about privacy and this sort of unique, special privacy that you only afford your romantic partner. A lot of people spoke about the evil eye and this idea that, oh, if I post my partner, then people who are jealous of me will somehow, through their terrible vibes, ruin my relationship. Some people said that they felt as if they were scared to post because what happens when someone comes to them as a woman, or what happens when they break up and they have to, you know, delete all the posts, and there's this whole feeling of like shame of having tried and failed to find love.
They're worried about how social media will accept this, i.e. women, right? She said, I have to worry about another woman coming to me as a woman to tell me about my boyfriend. I don't understand why women always forget that when you say coming to you as a woman, there was a woman involved in that situation as well. Granted, the guy, he's supposed to have, you know, better decision making and not sneak off with some other chick. However, there's a woman involved. Okay, So she's saying that women are worried about that, and they're worried about the backlash if they start posting their boyfriend and it doesn't work out, because women will shame her. Okay, let's continue.
And then there was a really interesting point that came across both people in relationships and single people, and this idea that like being in a relationship with a man and showcasing it to the world in and of itself was an embarrassing thing to do. And that's what I really wanted to get into. There was this idea of there not being a solidarity with other women. There was this idea of like a relationship just by default being something that rendered you quite uncool.
You see that? It's Mona, you hear it's all about the sisterhood. It's like it's not cool to have a man because other women won't like it. This is insane. God, dog.
About this podcast I came across where they were talking about, is it lame to have a boyfriend? And they say, when I meet a girl and she has a boyfriend, I automatically just kind of put her in a box or in a category, and I just don't feel as inspired or engaged by her. And then when someone doesn't, I feel like they have so much life and prospect, and they are just entertaining and fun, and I kind of feel empowered by their individualism. But interestingly, the girls talking about this on the podcast, agreeing with this idea that like girls without boyfriends are cool, are also in relationships themselves. And so I was thinking so much about how it is very uncool to be a boyfriend girl. It is very uncool to be a my man person. And I spoke to both just people who are on social, but also content creators and influencers about what happens when they post their partners, right? A lot of them lose a lot of followers, especially if they were already single. And this idea that now you are someone's girlfriend and you're posting about this, it's something that people automatically disengage from. I do it too. If I follow someone because they, I don't know, post their
So essentially, when a woman gets a boyfriend and she showcases them, they stop following her. Jesus.
Outfits, and all of a sudden it's their boyfriend every day, I'm just like mute. I came here for a reason. But this is happening like across the board, and like just culturally, I think a lot of like the days of a man being a prize has really changed. It's really changed. And obviously this has come from like just the empowerment of single women in general, but also just how the trajectory of men and women are going in completely opposite directions. And now we're having to look at heterosexuality with the political lens that we've looked at other sexualities, and we really have to evaluate, if we are a part of this thing, what does it mean?
It wasn't that interesting. The responses from the women was the most troubling to me, because it seemed like they didn't even read the article. And for her to kind of lean into it and be like, yeah, because it's not cool to be in a relationship or have a boyfriend, this is sad, man. God, dog.
I've also found the backlash to it. You know, I think a lot of women in relationships will say, well, you know, I hate all men apart from my man. He is a feminist and he is a this and he is a that, and I shouldn't feel embarrassed and blah blah blah. But the thing is, I think we have to be honest with ourselves. If people want to scream like men are trash, I hate all men, men are trash, I hate all men, and then you shack up with a man and you're like, but not my man though, and someone says that's embarrassing, this is the culture that we've created and fostered, right? And so
she said this is a culture that we created. She's talking about women. Everything about this article was about women and how they respond to certain things on social media. But for some odd reason, it was like, now it got changed to men are trash. It's like, what? They're talking about women.
I think a lot of people want to have their pie and eat it too. But there's nothing wrong with that. But I just think as we become a lot more critical of heterosexuality, I just think you can't.
And then she has an undertone of, you know, alternate lifestyle, being more critical of heterosexuality. Yeah, it's a little undertone there. I'm not sure if y'all catching that.
Can't sit comfortably in that anymore, which I I personally think is a good thing, because
you see that it's like you being critical about heterosexuality, and she thinks it's a good thing. What is she trying to sell to these women?
It means that we are like deepening heterosexuality. We're thinking so much more critically about what it is we're engaging in, and we're being conscious about our choices, which I think is important. But yeah, go and read the piece. Sorry to drone on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Shout out to everyone that made it to the end of this video.
All right, so she doubled down. Now this is her speaking directly to the women that were saying, my husband started off as a boyfriend and I love him. I love sharing him. So, and that was met with backlash from women calling those ladies pick-me's. Here we go.
So many people have messaged me to be like, my boyfriend is so special and unique and he's so not like other boyfriends and I'm not embarrassed and I love my boyfriend, I love my man. Like, it's only embarrassing when, you know, he doesn't buy you flowers every day. I'm telling you, and I am telling you, it's embarrassing, period.
You see, and this is where she started to lean into it. This is crazy.
It's embarrassing, period. Do you know how many women in loving relationships have messaged me to be like, hey, I love my man down. This is still embarrassing. It's still embarrassing. And I know it's not your fault. It's the men's fault. Collectively, the way men have behaved.
And now it turns into the men's fault. It wasn't even about the men. It was about women. God, dog.
In romantic relationships is just, it is nothing short of terrorism. It is nothing short of emotional terrorism. Every time you come on this app, is some woman giving us a 62-part story about how a man was Prince Charming and then was the devil incarnate. Right? And this is just what we've normalized in dating. And we kind of go into dating being like, whoo, I wonder what breed of terror this person is going to reign on my life today.
So, you know what? I notice that why do women deify each other? Like women don't do things wrong. Just because men are a little bit more quiet about their situations. Why is that? It's like all the men are doing all the wrong, but the women don't do anything. And that goes back to my argument about the black community, where, you know, there's 106 black women to every 100 black men. But when you start stripping away, they only strip away from the men. And it's like in relationships, when they describe these situations, it's like only the men do wrong. I think men need to start being a little bit more vocal. And I seen a thread where a woman was questioning if women are really asking for money on dates. And men had to tell her, no, we're telling the truth. Let me show you my text conversations. And a lot of women were surprised. Your friends are asking men for money. Your friends are having sex on the first date. Your friends are sleeping with multiple men. But do you get that story from them? No, because they want to make sure that you can, every time a relationship fails, they need you as her friend to think that it was a man's fault. When if you ask that guy, he'd probably tell you that your girlfriend was a menace in the relationship. She don't listen, she didn't cook, she didn't clean, she cheated, all this type of stuff. But women don't tell each other their side. They only tell what the men did. And it's just a lot, man. There's a lot going on.
And from when that is your approach to dating, or for when that is the attitude around dating in the get-go, it just feels like being with a man is an incredibly volatile thing. You just don't know what's going to happen next. And the people around you don't know what's going to happen next. People keep being like, oh, well, why? How come when a man is with a woman, it's not embarrassing, but when a woman is with a man, it's because the men are embarrassing.
See?
It does. Being with a woman doesn't do anything apart from...
There it is. Wait, listen.
What's going to happen next? People keep being like, oh, well, why? How come when a man is with a woman, it's not embarrassing, but when a woman is with a man, it's because the men are embarrassing. It does. Being with a woman doesn't do anything apart from shield probably what makes him embarrassing to the rest of the world.
You see that? Women don't do anything. That just confirms it. And she leaned into this foolery, man. That's crazy. Women don't do anything, right? Yeah, they don't. Yeah, that's delusional.
Guys, lock in. Obviously, I know embarrassment is such a light touch term. But what I'm really trying to get at is that where men are societally, where they are politically, education-wise, you know, how they behave, the attitudes that we've normalized, this cannot run anymore. And I know nobody wants to hear it. No one wants to hear that being with a man is embarrassing, especially when you're in a loving relationship. But I think it's just take stock of where we are at politically, right? The madness that men are doing.
So you see, she's tying in politics, also feminism, misandry. She's putting this all into one pot to demonize all men. The way men are moving, what men are doing. And you can tell that she has a disdain for men. I mean, it's simple now. So let's continue.
both on a broader societal level, but also on an interpersonal level. The heterosexual romantic fantasy is crumbling. It is crumbling before our very eyes. And are we going to clamor to try and put together the chaos? Or are we going to think about something new? Imagine a different world. Imagine a different way our relationships can exist so they don't feel so oppressive. I just think we have continually rewarded men for the abysmal way they treat women. And I just feel like it's getting to the point that it is unavoidable. It's uncomfortable now. So yeah, having a boyfriend is a bit embarrassing because men are embarrassing because what are they doing?
I mean, she said it, but the funny thing is, you said it's embarrassing. Men are embarrassed in the way that they treat women. Did men win the war in teaching women on how to be more flippant with their vagina? Just give it away for free?
I'm trying to wrap my head around how us women were really brainwashed to believe that we were sticking it to the patriarchy by showing off all of our skin and making ourselves super available for sex, where we're gonna have sex with you if we feel like it. No commitment needed. You don't have to do anything for us. We're just gonna do it. And that's how we're gonna stick it to the men. The men won. They won. Because we tried to stick it to them and tell them and show them how powerful we are and whatever by making ourselves more accessible to them and giving ourselves away freely to them. Like, what level of brainwashing did we go through? They won. They won.
Because that seems like something that men would cook up and women would be like, hell no, you're not gonna convince me to just sleep with a guy and not think nothing of it. But what I've learned is women convince each other to do that. They think it's empowering. And as a man, what are y'all gonna do? You gonna be like, no, lady, you shouldn't be having sex with me. You shouldn't be, not cooking for me, but you'll, bend over in the bedroom. Yeah, if I was to describe this to somebody 30 years ago, they'd be like, man, that shit would never happen. You will never convince women to have sex with men with no emotional attachment and have them scoff at the fact that I'm not gonna bring them soup after I had sex with them. What do you mean? That's doing too much. People would laugh at you. That's why I'm confused. I'm like, man, do you tell men to, speak up and be like, hey, we don't like this, ladies? Or do you just let them go? It's wild work, man. It's crazy. But there you have it, guys. So you guys heard the whole article. We heard her take on it. I gave you an example. So I think we covered this as best as we could. But you could tell she's trying to paint a picture of men bad. And she's also putting a little bit of alternative lifestyle in there to put that in a woman's mind. And it's just sad to see women in the Black community running with this, because Black women can't afford to be running with these types of narratives, man. It's all bad.